Do you want to be a victim or a victor? I know my answer, but if the Democrats get their way, they would turn every American into a victim. You, all of you watching, must be reduced to suffer under some oppressive and destructive system rigged against you. Only government can save you from your oppressors. It's all pretty sickening to watch unfold, but this is what we are up against. The left pushes social injustice, systemic racism, a culture of grievance, and the useful idiots buying into this nonsense don't even know they're being used, degenerated, weakened, all in an effort to control them. Every political issue now is about race and identity politics. Americans are being told they can't beat the pervasive system built to oppress them, minorities especially. Look at the United Teachers Association of Los Angeles, the union there. It just rejected California's $6.6 billion plan to reopen schools. The union called it a recipe for propagating structural racism. They described the plan as racist because it incentivizes schools to open quicker. Each day you remain closed, you lose some state funding. The union managed to twist this into declaring that wealthy white people aren't experiencing the virus like minority communities are. So the plan punishes districts like the one in LA, they say. This is the president of the UTLA Teachers Union.
Prompted by the increased pressure from politicians and big business for a physical return to school sites under unsafe conditions, the UTLA officers, board of directors, and 93% of chapter chairs have voted to organize against a premature return to schools.
You see how angry she is? They're exploiting the virus. It should have all of us as the ones who should be steaming mad. The teachers made it an issue of black and white. And in the end, you know what they do? They send a clear message to minority kids. You're just not as good. And you just can't succeed because of your color. You're just more vulnerable than everyone else. That, folks, is a horrible, bogus message to be sending to children. Look at how liberals deal with crime, by the way. They have the audacity to make victims out of the criminals themselves, claiming they're all motivated to commit crimes by an unfair society. It is faux victimization. Black Lives Matter raised $90 million off the phony idea that unarmed black men are killed by police more often than white suspects. But in 2019, just look at the statistics, police fatally shot 9 unarmed blacks and 19 unarmed whites. And when you consider that blacks commit 60% of robberies and 53% of homicides in America, but only make up 13% of the population, you quickly see the BLM narrative totally falls apart. But none of that matters, right? Because BLM brilliantly, for them, turned all black people into victims, and it raised $90 million doing it. At best, BLM marches through the streets, airing their grievances, cries of persecution. At worst, they riot, they loot, they steal, and they terrorize. What they don't do is offer up any meaningful solutions to their grievances, because there aren't any. Most of their grievances are phony. You see, today, police are very well trained, maybe better trained than at any other point in the history of this nation. They are also 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a black man than a black male is to be killed by a police officer. Again, it is all faux victimhood. And the left's politics of victimhood is the real form of oppression here. Just listen to MSNBC commentary when asked about prosecuting BLM rioters.
We have to be very clear that this is an insidious attempt to punish black people to live freely and to make it illegal to change the institutions that continue to kill us.
What happened last summer is mostly peaceful protesters who were attacked by police officers.
Nobody believes it, except, of course, the people watching. The left wants everyone as a victim now. You see, they claim there is a war on transgender individuals because anyone with common sense believes it is wrong to allow biological males to compete against women. The Colorado Springs Gazette editorial team urged its readers to be victors. This was a fabulous editorial, by the way. They wanted you to be victors, not victims, writing this: victors, not victims, ended slavery by smuggling slaves to freedom and winning a war. Victors ended school segregation by fighting and winning in court. Victors reduced hunger worldwide and nationally by improving society's ability to grow more crops per acre at diminishing costs. Victors also happen to be vilified and now canceled too by the left. Who doesn't remember Dr. Seuss? He taught generations of kids how to read by making it fun. Now they're canceling 6 of his books because there aren't enough characters of color in them, is apparently one reason. Odd, because most of the characters aren't even people. Dr. Seuss is a victor in my book. Sadly, in death, he is now a victim of this culture war that has taken